Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. And guys, in this video today we are going to learn what is Azure Virtual Network Fundamentals, or what is Azure Virtual Networking. Okay, so it is very important because it is there will be couple of questions from this topic. Uh, like uh, it is part of Azure Virtual Services. So we are going to learn about networking services. Okay, in that this is the concept of virtual network. Okay, so the first thing you need to learn is very simple. Let's see one scenario we will discuss here, okay, before moving further. So guys, suppose your company ABCD Traders has migrated some application to the cloud. Okay, you were using certain applications from your on premises. Now it is migrated to cloud and is architecting new ones, and the servers that host ABCD Traders customer and product data are based on Silicon Valley. Now let's see, your company also has several branches or branch offices located in different geographic regions. Okay, as part of your migration strategy, your company needs to determine the correct approach to configure its network infrastructure. So the situation is very simple. You have multiple offices across the region, geographic location. Okay, that is sufficient to understand why we are going to learn about virtual network. Very simple. Let's see a little further. To help save cost, your convenience, your team to move your website and several of your other network resources to the cloud. With that in mind, you will need to provide secure access to private company data for each of its branch location. Very simple. If you have multiple locations and as per the requirement, you will have to give access to company data. And you want to know how Azure can help you manage your network more effectively. As it turns out, managing networks on Azure isn't entirely different from managing on-premises network. So yes, here we will use Azure Virtual Network to fulfill the requirement of this business or this migration. How it is useful. So for this you will have to go through all my videos one by one, because I cannot cover each and everything in one video, because people are not watching full video. They are watching for 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and that is not going to help them. So I will be recording one by one, and rest of is up to you. Once again, it is your choice. So let's see guys what we have in this. Okay, so let's see one more time. Azure Virtual Network Fundamentals. So guys, let's see. ABCD Traders has an on-premises data center, okay, that you plan to keep, but you want to use Azure to offload peak traffic by using Azure Virtual Machine hosted in Azure. So you have on-premises as well as cloud, okay. So it is hybrid infrastructure basically. Now what is happening here? You want to keep your existing IP address scheme. Okay, so whatever IP addressing you are using, you want to keep the same scheme and network appliances while ensuring that any data transfer is secure. So whatever devices or appliances you are using in network for data security, data transmission, uh, you want like that data should be transferred securely. Okay, and using Azure Virtual Network for your virtual networking can help you reach your goals. So guys, whatever we have discussed in this slide and this slide, this Azure Virtual Network can help us to achieve it easily. Okay, so how we will learn now. So this is a one diagram. You can see basic things. Okay, it is a complete virtual network. So you can see this is your on-premises items you have. Okay, now it is connected to one VPN gateway. Okay, for this is one VPN gateway. Now here you have multiple subnets. You can see you have created subnets, and this is your one subnet, you can say. Okay, for example, I'm just telling you. And here once again, allow gateway transit. So this is for allow and deny. So from this side you can see it is connected to use remote gateway. Okay, once again you have one virtual network. So you have one virtual network this side vnet virtual network v, and this side also you have one udr. We will understand all those things one by one, what is udr and all. And you can see vnet a. So you have one virtual network this side and one virtual network this side, and you can consider this is your main network, okay, core network you can say. And now if you want to make communication between this virtual network a and virtual network b, then you can use peering. Peering is a you know, you can say method or way which is useful to connect two separate virtual network, okay, vnet. So we will understand all those things one by one. I hope you understand this uh, little bit. I'm sure definitely how it is connected, how this infra is deployed. Okay guys, now so whatever it is, you can say it is your cloud. This is your cloud virtual network, this much, and this one is on premises. So we'll move little further to understand it in detail. So guys, what is Azure virtual networking? Okay, so you should make a note. Azure virtual network enable Azure resources such as VM, web app, and databases to communicate with each other, with users on the internet, and with your on-premises client computer. So for example, this is your, this is your Azure. Okay, you have on-premises data center here, DC. So like this is your DC. Okay, and it is connected both. So simple thing, like this on-premises users should be able to access resources from cloud. Okay, and if they want to keep anything on cloud, they should be able to keep it. That is what, everything should be accessible. Okay, everything should be communicating with each other. That is all about is known as Azure virtual networking. Sorry, like you can think of Azure network as an extension of your on-premises network with resources that links other Azure resources. So it is a link between uh, on-premises and cloud, basically very simple. To infra, cloud infra, and on-premises physical infra. It is a connectivity between uh, two separate infra, and it is basically extension. Okay, basically you can say Azure network as an extension of your on-premises network. And apart from this, Azure virtual network, uh, and one more thing here, why we are calling it Azure virtual, because Azure is providing this service. Okay, one thing, virtual is like you cannot see, you cannot touch it, but yes, it has some existence. Okay, that is why it is called virtual. And networking is nothing but it is a connection between multiple devices so that they can communicate as per the requirement. Okay, that is why it is called Azure virtual network. I hope it is very clear now. Now let's see. Azure virtual network provide the following key networking capabilities. So you can say the first one is isolation and segmentation, internet communication, communicate with Azure resources, communicate with on-premises resources, route network traffic, filter network traffic, connect virtual network. So these are the key capabilities which is provided by networking. So we will understand, we will learn about all seven capabilities one by one. Okay, now, so isolation and segmentation, you can see the very first one. What does it mean actually about this capability? So guys, Azure Virtual Network allows you to create multiple isolated virtual network. Okay, for example, I'm just giving you, this is your main network. Now you are creating multiple isolated subnetworks. Okay, you can see here one, two, three, four isolated network we have created. That is all about is known as segmentation or isolation. Okay, next one. When you set up a virtual network, when you set up a virtual network, you define a private IP address space by using either public or private IP address range. Okay, and the public IP address range only exists within the virtual network and it's not internet routable. You can divide that IP address space into subnets and allocate part of the defined address space to each named subnet. So simple thing, you can see this is your one network and you have made four isolated subnetwork. Okay, for name resolution, you can use the name resolution service that's built in to Azure, and you can also configure the virtual network to use an internal or an external DNS server. So guys, this is all about isolation and segmentation. Now we will see the next capability, which is internet communications. So a virtual machine in Azure can connect to the internet by default. Yes, without internet you cannot use any virtual machine. To connect to a virtual machine you should have internet access. Okay, you can enable incoming connections from the internet by assigning a public IP address to a virtual machine or by putting the virtual machine behind a public load balancer. Okay, and for virtual machine management you can connect via the Azure CLI, remote desktop protocol or secure cell. So you have three-way to manage virtual machine. Okay, and let's see the next one. So this was internet communication. Now let's see the next capability, communicate between Azure resources. So what do you mean by resources? Resources are whatever uh, things we are using, that is known as resource. Okay, and now let's see, you want to enable Azure resource to communicate securely with each other. You can do that in one of the two ways. So for this, what you can do or what you can use is virtual networks. Okay, so virtual networks can connect not only virtual machine but other Azure resources such as app service environment for power apps, Azure Kubernetes services, and Azure virtual machine skill sets. So everything is happening with the help of virtual network only. Okay, apart from this, the second one is service endpoint. So guys, you can use service endpoint to connect to other Azure resources types such as Azure SQL database and storage accounts. This approach enables you to link multiple Azure resources to virtual network to improve security and provide optimal routing between resources. So there are two uh, way you can use to make communication between multiple resources on Azure. Now let's see the next one. Next one is communicate with on-premises resources. Okay, on-premises resources. So guys, Azure virtual networks enable you to link resources together in your on-premises environment and within your Azure subscriptions. And apart from this, in fact, you can create a network that spans both your local and cloud environment. Okay, and there are three mechanisms for you to achieve this connectivity. Let's see what are those things. So the very first one is point to site virtual private network. Okay guys, and we'll learn about two more. So let's talk about the first, which is point to site virtual private network. So guys, the typical approach to virtual network, virtual private network. Okay, uh, VPN, that is also known as VPN. The typical approach to a virtual private network, which is VPN connection, is from a computer outside your organization back into your corporate network. Okay, that is known as point to site virtual private network. And the other thing about this, in this case, the client computer initiate an encrypted VPN connection to connect that computer to your Azure virtual network or to the virtual network. So it will be encrypted secure connection. Okay, we'll have to use one VPN client installed on computer, and that client will initiate an encrypted VPN connection. Okay guys, the next one is site to site virtual private network. Let's see what we have in this. So a site to site VPN links your on-premises VPN device or gateway to Azure VPN gateway in virtual network. So if I go back, you can see here in this image only. Okay, this is the one. We have on-premises data center here, and it is connecting to VPN gateway. Okay, guys, and we are here site to site. So there is some problem with my device. Let me connect it, reconnect it. We were talking about this one. Okay. In fact, the device in Azure can appear as being on the local network. So once connectivity is established, your device is like your device will behave like it is on uh, local network only, or whatever you are accessing, it will feel like you are accessing from your local network only. Okay, guys. And the connection is encrypted and works over the internet. So the connection between this your cloud and you are accessing here. Okay, so this is your laptop. So here you will have one client installed on your laptop, so it will establish connection with your cloud, and this will be encrypted. Okay, and the next one is express route, Azure express route. So let's see, for environment where you need greater bandwidth, okay, and even higher level of security, Azure express route is the best approach. So if you want like higher bandwidth or greater bandwidth, higher level of security, in that scenario, in that condition, you should use Azure express route. Okay, and Azure Express Route provides a dedicated private connectivity to Azure that doesn't travel over the internet. You should make note, guys. I had a question when I appeared for the examination of AZ-900 about this one. Okay, this second point. So Express Route doesn't go over the internet. It is a private connectivity. This is more important and most important about this one. It is a dedicated private connectivity. It is not public and it doesn't go over the internet. This is very important. The next one is so what we have understood so far. We have understood three uh, mechanism for you to achieve this connectivity. Okay, uh, communicate with on-premises resources. Now we'll see the next capability, which is route network traffic. So guys, very simple. By default, Azure routes traffic between subnets on any connected virtual network, on premises networks, and the internet. You can also control routing and override those settings as follows. So if you want to make any change, you can make it. So you for this you need to use route tables. Okay, route tables. What it is actually? A route table allow you to define rules about how traffic should be directed. You can create custom route tables that control how packets are routed between subnets. So it is done by route table or route tables. Okay, let's see the next one. The next one is border gateway protocol. which is also known as BGP. So BGP works with Azure VPN gateway. The first thing, Azure VPN gateways, Azure root servers, or Azure Express route to propagate on-premises BGP route to Azure Virtual Network. So two mechanism we have here. One is border gateway protocol BGP and route tables to route network traffic. Okay guys, now we'll see the next one, filter network traffic. Azure Virtual Network enable you to filter traffic between subnet by using the following approaches. Okay, the first approach is network security groups. What it is actually? A network security group is an Azure resource that can contain multiple inbound and outbound security rules. Okay, so you can apply a rule to a group for inbound and outbound security. You can define these rules to allow or block traffic based on factors such as source and destination IP address, port and protocols. Okay, and the next one is network virtual appliances. So if you don't want to use network security groups, you can use network virtual appliances, but uh, security group is also required. Okay, let's see. Network network virtual appliances. A network virtual appliance is a specialized virtual machine that can be compared to a hardened network appliance. So it is very powerful hardware basically. Okay, appliance. Okay, basically, and a network virtual appliance carries out a particular network function such as running a firewall or performing wide area network optimization. Apart from this, the next capability is connect virtual networks. Let's see what we have in this. You can link virtual networks together by using virtual network peering. Okay, peering. I had showed you this in my first slide only. So for example, you have multiple sub network and you want to establish communication between those virtual networks. You can use peering. You can see virtual network B, virtual network A, and here we have created peering. Okay, so this peering will make or will enable you to make communication between two separate virtual networks. Where we were at uh, connect virtual networks. Okay guys, and peering enable resources in each virtual network to communicate with each other. These virtual network can be separate, can be in separate region. Okay, this virtual network which allow you to create a global interconnected network through Azure. Apart from this, user defined route, that is also known as UDR, are a significant update to Azure's virtual network that allows for greater control over network traffic flow. And this method allows network administrator to control the routing table between subnets or within a virtual network or VNet, as well as between VNets. So guys, I'm done with this video. This is what I wanted to discuss with you, and I have tried my best to deliver. And if you feel it is informative, I'm sure it is informative. It is up to your mindset only. You just need to make a note and try to learn. If you don't feel it is informative, you never can understand anything and you can never learn anything. So this is what you have to do. And in next video, what learn we will learn about virtual network settings. So how to create virtual network, define additional settings, and configure virtual networks. Okay, and apart from this, uh, the next is like what we will learn. we will learn about VPN gateways. Okay, so if you want to learn more and want to clear the examinations, make a note guys, take it seriously. Rest of is up to you. I will meet you in next video. Till then, bye bye.